Hey guys, I know what you're gonna ask. Why are you making video about this when Path of Exile New League is just 5 days away? Are you not hyped? To answer that, yes, I'm hyped, but I can't do anything with that hype. I can't play New League just yet, and I would rather keep that hype in check in case something disappoints. So, I have been playing Anarchy Online non-stop for the last 5 days or so, and it feels so refreshing. To those who know this game, this is going to be very nostalgic, and to those who never played this game, this is 20 years old game, and in some cases it is more complex than Path of Exile. It is a sci-fi MMORPG with bigger player base than Wilson and Last Epoch combined. I am basing that on Steam charts and one other website that estimates Anarchy Online player base, so don't take this as a fact, but in game you can find lots of players in every major city and dungeon. And yeah, I know it's not fair to compare MMORPG and action RPG, but those are the games that I care about. So yeah, this game has something that most new games do not, and it is not about graphics. I mean, I do like those round square titties, but no, it's not about that. I played this game like 10 to 15 years ago, and now felt very nostalgic about this game and decided to download it again. Just don't use Steam. Steam still uses old engine. Download it from the official website with new engine. Usually when you feel nostalgic about some game and decide to try it again, it becomes boring in just couple minutes, but for some reason it did not happen this time. I mentioned at the start that playing this game felt very refreshing, probably compared to Path of Exile where everything is fast and you need to make quick decisions, and while leveling early on you need to do all the missions, go through 10 acts, which I know many players are so tired of. In Anarchy Online you only do short tutorial zone, and after that you are free to go almost anywhere, do what you want. Also, fighting is much slower, especially early on. In Anarchy Online it doesn't even tell you what you should be doing. In fact, it doesn't even have a usual MMO style questing. You either do dungeons or pick missions, or I guess spend lots of time trying to figure out your character's build, how to equip all those high level implants on your low level character. Oh yeah, that's another thing in this game. Items don't have levels. They do have quality levels. So you can actually twink your character and blast through low levels if you got credits and high level player giving you buff, of course. Buffs in this game are everything. Anarchy Online has pretty cool attribute system. It has main attributes which do nothing directly, but raising them increases the maximum value of other attributes. For example, raising agility and sense allows you to increase rifle attribute to a higher value, which basically makes you do more damage with rifles, and of course allows you to equip higher level rifles. And when it comes to buffs, which are called nanos because this is a sci-fi game, nanos also require certain attributes to cast them, and when there are implants which buffs all sorts of attributes. So since this game has no item or buff levels, you can use nanos that buff other attributes to be able to equip higher level implants that would buff other attributes to be able to learn and buff yourself with higher level nanos, which will allow you to get higher level implants and so on. This kind of complexity was one of the coolest things back in the day. Also, Anarchy Online is probably the only game where there are no beggars for money. Instead, there are players who are looking for new players to give them money, because high level players reach money cap anyway. By the way, max level for free players is 200 and 220 for paid members. I have never bought membership and have never really reached any high levels because I was always playing solo, and I guess I never played this game too seriously. If the timing was different, I would buy monthly membership and play Anarchy Online more seriously. I may actually do that once the Ritual League in Path of Exile starts to fade away. Back to Anarchy. I mentioned dungeons, and it was so nostalgic going back to Subway and fighting all those enemies. I was really surprised that there are still so many players making new characters and going back into those low level dungeons. Oh, and of course there are so many different items and everyone looks different, well, except maybe low level free players with low level items like me. Let's talk about combat a bit. Years ago I was very unimpressed with such slow speed, but I am more appreciative of this now. I know many Path of Exile players over years are getting tired of speed meta and wish for older days when Path of Exile was much slower. Well, maybe Anarchy Online would make you feel at home. Weapons have attack and recharge time, and at low levels you're going to be attacking like once every 2 to 3 seconds, which you improve with levels. It also doesn't have your typical skill system. Some classes are more like typical spellcasters, but other classes don't really spam learnable skills for damage. Most weapons have their own skills, or should I say, there are base attack skills and different weapons use those base different skills. For example, rifle usually only has snipe skill that has long cooldown and requires enemies to not be aware of you. Other weapons like let's say swords can have 2, 3 or even more skills that become available, all on different cooldowns, and you can choose which skills you want to focus on by increasing the matching attribute. Attack speed is based on weapon speed and your weapon initiative attribute. For example, rifle attack speed is based on ranged weapon initiative. I kept classes for later because I can shoot two birds with one stone, talk about classes and talk about which classes are best for solo in 2021 I guess. Just keep in mind that I have limited knowledge about what is best in the game, so I just googled this info. Anarchy Online has 14 classes, 2 of them are for paid members. Adventurer, Agent, Bureaucrat, Doctor, Enforcer, Engineer, Fixer, Keeper, Martial Artist, Metaphysicist, Nanotechnician, Shade, Soldier, and Trader. Each class has its own role, different focus on weapons and buffs, but nothing forces you to use, let's say, assault rifle as a soldier. You can choose to use dual shotguns and make your own build. My personal recommendation probably would be Martial Artists. They don't use weapons, they have many attacks and self-heals, which is very useful for solo. If you want to be more of a spellcaster, then Metaphysicist has 3 pets which can control enemies, damage them or heal you, so it is also great for solo. In terms of what is best, it seems there were some changes in the last couple of years, but it seems Shade is top class for damage, but it is paid class. Engineer and Bureaucrat still is among top classes it seems. Nanotechnician is still a nuke king. But I would say don't mind what is best in the end, because reaching end may take a while and some best classes are only best near the end. And with the right items, one straightforward playstyle, pick Enforcer for melee or Soldier for range playstyle. One pets, pick Metaphysicist or Engineer. Bureaucrat is a bit more complicated. One generic caster, Nanotechnician. I am trying to keep this short because there are so many things I could talk about even with my limited knowledge. I have never done faction wars, but player base triples if not quadruples during faction wars. By the way, there are 2 factions plus neutrals. Omnitech is like Corpus in Cyberpunk and Clan faction is like Nomads in Cyberpunk I guess. Each faction has their own affiliated cities and guards will kill you if you go to the wrong place at the wrong time if you are the wrong faction. Traveling is another important thing in this game because zones in this game are so unnecessarily huge. It would probably take hours to travel on foot from one corner of the planet map to another corner. So for traveling you normally use grid and Wompath. Fixer class has its own grid and is very useful because there are no portals and scrolls to bring you back to town. So if you wander somewhere far away, it may take hours to get back unless you find higher level monsters to kill you. Crafting exists in this game, but I never really touched it because there are like literally billions of devices and small items and I have no clue how to use them. Crafting is basically combining 2 items and then combining the result with the other items and so on. It is an old game and many things do not meet these days standard, but if Anarchy Online was remade with these days standard and somehow kept its atmosphere, then this game would be the greatest game. In fact, I would even guess that if Anarchy Online kept getting updates like World of Warcraft does, then this game would be more popular than World of Warcraft. At least in my biased opinion because I'm leaning towards sci-fi games more than fantasy games. If you never played Anarchy Online, it is free and I would recommend to download a client with the new engine from official website rather than use Steam. There are also many good guides for new players and there would still be many things you won't understand right away. So if you have questions, check my stream and if I'm not live, ask questions in the comments below, either me or someone else will answer. I may do more videos about Anarchy Online sometime in the future. With Path to Exile New League starting in 5 days, I will be returning to my usual Path to Exile build videos. Thank you for watching and have a happy 2021.